So, talking about how we've been using AI at GSK to make audiovisual material a bit more discoverable, helping us to uncover some of our hidden gems. And before I start, I do have to shout out to James Elder from the BT Group Archives here in London, because it was a presentation of his on the same topic that has sparked this whole experiment for us. So GSK is a global pharmaceutical company. We've just celebrated our 310th anniversary. And our collections kind of showcase the contribution we've made to people's health and the development of scientific methods across that time span. We've been digitizing our archival material since 2012, and our very first batch was our UK video collection. And since then, we've sent off roughly one batch a year from either our British or American collections. We describe our audio visual material much like any other record type, with title, date, maybe some kind of summary information, a general topic, and its provenance. The digital file is usually an MP4 access copy if it's been digitized, is attached to that record, and then can be watched by internal staff on our GSK Heritage website. The problematic part of that is that for longer videos with either short or vague titles, they're basically unsearchable, and we basically have no idea what the full content is. So whilst Advert Commercial 2005 is fine for a 30-second advert, many of our videos are 30 minutes or an hour long with titles like Quarterly Manager's Briefing, which means that our users and researchers rely on our archive team having watched any of the videos previously in order to recommend anything that might be of relevance for their needs. So 10 years ago, when we had our 300th anniversary, we recorded oral histories with some of our current and retired staff, and some of the project team spent some time manually transcribing those. That takes forever, or more accurately, it's about 2 or 3 times the length of the videos, how long it takes to make the transcription. So for a small kind of 20 recording project, this is fine. But for the hundreds of thousands of videos and audio across the entire collection, it's just not something that we want to spend time doing. So as of this morning, we have 2,247 videos and 523 audio files in our collections management system. So it's the best part of 3,000 AV total. I had been scared into action on digitizing our US materials because of a different conference that I attended about the rapid degradation of AV and tape materials. So the first batch of the videos from the US went off site to our vendor in January 24. And then it was June 24 when I watched James's presentation on using subtitle edit on their digitized video collections to generate subtitles. So our 600 videos that were off-site were due back the following month. So I thought it would be worth having a bit of an experiment, as we in the business are constantly being pushed to innovate, improve, automate processes and workflows all across the business, whether that's stuff to make our drugs and medicines better, or whether it's me in the archive trying to make things more discoverable for our users. So the software we use, Subtitle Edit, is an open source AI tool. It's installed locally with all of the large language models also stored locally on my laptop. It doesn't upload, it doesn't report back, it doesn't share anything to some parent or source somewhere. It is entirely self-contained, and within the RAI rules, that's what it needs to be. So all it needs is to have right permissions in the place where you're going to transcribe the video. So normally it's in my downloads folder on my laptop. So then I just select my preferred model, which is called Whisper. And I have, in the past 18 months, downloaded both the large version 1 and version 3 models from a website with the fabulous name of Hugging Face, where all sorts of models are shared, and then you just add a batch of files, set it off running, and it just merrily works its way through. So I use a second laptop mostly. So it just sits on my desk and works quietly away for hours or days. And I'm working, watching TV, I'm in the shower, I'm sleeping. Needs very little input at that stage. It generates a VTT subtitle file for each of the videos. So beyond just improving searchability, it also gives us an increased accessibility, because then each video has its own subtitles that appear across the bottom of the screen. I am within our legal department, and they often describe an AI as being like the most junior lawyer in the team. It's useful, it's productive, but you need to check over everything that they do. You would never just send a memo that they've drafted without reading it over. And so just the same, all of these transcription files that we've generated need reviewed and error corrected. Some accents and voices it struggles with. It's really not great with our French former CEO speaking in English. it kept giving JSK when he was saying GSK. And there's also a marked difference in quality between English and American accents for some reason. It really struggles with some of our legacy company names on the spellings and trademarks of our products because they're just not common words in the language. And some videos that have a background music, background track of some sort have really confused it, and it's had to be retranscribed with a better model. So the updated version 3 model is what we've been using to redo those, and it is far better, and it's actually a little quicker at generating some of these files, but everything still needs to be read over and reviewed. That review process doesn't actually take that long. It's maybe only a few minutes, or up to maybe like 15 or 20 if it's kind of a long hour-ish or more meeting recording. So it is far quicker, orders of magnitude quicker than trying to do this manually. So once happy with the text that's generated, that everything has been corrected, it gets saved. I open it up as a text file, and then I've copied it into a dedicated field that we created in Preservica, along with a note about how it was generated. So as Helen said, we need to know that AI was involved somewhere along the line. So we're capturing that. And then the date that it's been reviewed. So then every night our Preservica syncs up to our QI, our collections management system, and downloads any new videos and any new additional metadata that goes along with that. So then it copies all of that down, and then it automatically publishes it onto our heritage website. So the transcription field is one of those that is being downloaded, and we've made that searchable on the front end of the website. So if someone searches for a keyword, it will fully text search everything that is in one of our video transcriptions, anything that's in our full text searchable PDFs, any text from across various fields that we have on our records that we have captured. So at present, we are around 750 or 800 videos that now can be found like this. So it's maybe a third of our total video holdings. And there's around 200 transcriptions sitting in our Teams channel waiting to be checked and added to the various places. So it's meant that we've been able to uncover all sorts of hidden gems that we never knew we had without watching hours and hours worth of footage. So there is a video of one of our Nobel laureates, Trudy Elion, being interviewed in 1988. And one of the questions she's asked is about the feasibility of an HIV vaccine, only a year after the first effective treatment for HIV was approved. We're able to see how our legacy companies talked about each other, because we were competitors once and have been all merged together for 25 years. So sometimes there is some smack talk, and sometimes they are quite polite about each other. And we're better able to identify individuals that are speaking or presenting. At our last CEO change in 2017, we found several videos of our retiring CEO across his 30-year career that went into celebratory video. But as it turns out, we have several more we didn't know about until we looked at all these transcriptions. It also has the ability to transcribe in other languages. So far, I've only tested it on Japanese, because we had a Japanese market advert digitized this year. So we had the Japanese transcription, which then I was able to translate into English using Copilot. So in less than 18 months, we've made about a third of our videos more easily searchable and discoverable through the use of this AI large language model tool. If we needed to do this manually, we would have never prioritized this work at all, as there are far higher value tasks on the list that we could do in the collections. As this mainly works in the background, we can turn the processing around quite quickly. And so it's been fairly easy to include in the digitization workflow and doesn't really impact our routine tasks. So of the 230 videos we had digitized this year, we are almost complete. And that hard drive has been back with us for about 2 to 3 months, I think. So we're getting quicker at generating, reviewing, and processing all of these. This process might get changed again in the future. Some of our vendors are planning to introduce an inbuilt AV transcription into the tools that we have from them. So it may negate the need to download the already catalogued videos that we have to generate transcriptions. But we need to see which models they're using and how comparable they are to our current one to see if they're better, worse, worth using, or if we just stick with what we're currently doing.